Hello everyone, it's Chris. It's a beautiful day in January in Niagara Falls, New York. We're about to get on the Grand Island Bridge. We're going to go for a little ride along the west rim of Grand Island, and we're going to talk about road salt. We're going to talk about my plan to keep the Spyder clean during the winter and how that plan is not going to work out and why and what I'm going to do about it. We're going to talk about cameras. So I've got the the Insta360 camera in a new place, so we're going to see how this new position works now, and I'm going to show you. We're going to pull over up ahead here, but the risk I have is my Action Invisible selfie stick that I bought as an accessory for the Insta360 is not tethered with any kind of bungee. So if the thing fails on me and the mount seems to be a little wobbly, then I'm going to have a very expensive problem, but we'll deal with that. I also have this mount that came with the Insta360 motorcycle kit that I bought. Now, I've said many times, I don't necessarily favor the look of like you kind of looking me in the face. I think most people who watch motovlogs would prefer this view, and this is always going to be my primary view. We're going to get off at this exit here on West River Road. But I bought the Insta360 to give me some good, what they call B-roll. So occasionally, this will be my primary method of shooting, but occasionally you'll get the Insta360 view, and on less occasions I'll put the Insta360 here. I'll probably have the camera mounted right here. We're going to show you the road salt issue up close and personal. Oops, stop sign. As you know, I'm prone to roll through stop signs. I view them as kind of advisory. When you're in the middle of nowhere, there are no cars around. Sorry folks, I know it bothers some of you, but I can't help myself. So back to the road salt and how I'm going to keep this thing clean. So today, I think right now the Spyder says 41. No way. I think it's just hitting like freezing. I think it's just getting up to 32 for the first time in a long time. It's been in the teens and in the 20s and even in the single digits for the past couple of weeks, which means I haven't been able to wash my bike. It's been at least 2 weeks, maybe even 3. So we're on Grand Island, just south of Niagara Falls, just north of Buffalo. This is the Niagara River right here. The Niagara River kind of goes around Grand Island. And what I'm going to do is pull in this little, it's not a spot, but I'm going to pull into this place right here. And see, this is, so this is going to be, this is a good place to do this. So I'm going to just, so this is road salt here, but it accumulates on your bike and on your car when you live in this part of the country. So this whiteness that you see, there's some dirt in there, sure, of course there is, but a lot of that white that you see is road salt that accumulates when you ride in the winter. So this is my new setup on the Insta360. The last time and the first time I used the Insta360, this selfie stick was tethered with bungee cords to this. If this, you know, somehow gets loose, I'm going to have a problem, but we're going to see how it looks. But back to the road salt issue. All this whiteness that you see is road salt. Now, what you see isn't what bothers me, because this is not going to rust. This is not going to rust. This is not going to rust. Most of this is plastic, right? What I worry about are the components. So my disc brakes, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they fared. I don't see any sign of rust yet, but my plan, road salt was not a surprise to me. I knew what I was dealing with, or what I was going to deal with when I bought the Spyder and planned to use it as my only vehicle. So my thought was, we get enough warm days during the winter, warm meaning over 40. Now I know freezing is 32, and I'm talking Fahrenheit. For most of the world that's watching outside of the United States and you're on the metric system, I apologize. But freezing temperatures is the way I put it. I know 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing, but I thought if it got up just a little above that, I would actually pull out the hose, turn on the water spigot in my basement and hose down the bike thoroughly, give it a good polishing, give it a good cleaning, and do that enough, because we would get enough warmer days, again, warmer meaning above freezing during the winter, where I could do that. But we just had a stretch of the past couple of weeks that it's been below freezing, and in most cases far below freezing, so I just haven't been able to keep this clean. Now today, despite the Spyder's thermometer, which is now saying 39, the weather forecasters and all of the weather apps are saying it might get up to 33 or 34 degrees. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm shooting this at about, well, 11:05. You can see 11:05 a.m. in the morning. At about 2 o'clock, when it's at its warmest, I'm going to go to one of those outdoor car washes, like a self-service car wash place, and I'm going to spray the heck out of this thing. I'm going to try to be careful about doing that. I don't want to, you know, jet anything into the speakers, obviously, or into the electronic circuitry of this thing, but I'm going to do my best to hose the heck out of this thing. I am going to bundle up, because while it might be above freezing, it's not going to be much above freezing, and hose it down. I'll wipe it down as best I can, considering the temperature. I'm not going to want to hang out at the car wash, like giving it a thorough drying. Jump on it, ride home, which would give it a nice air drying, and then polish it up when I get home. In fact, now that I think about it, I may try to get that on camera. I might actually wear the helmet with the GoPro at the car wash and, you know, do it with you right there with me, but we'll play it by ear. But anyway, so my concern is corrosion that I can't see underneath the plastic. So here's my plan. I'm hoping this is going to be the longest stretch. So this is a walking trail that goes right along. It actually used to be a roadway, I believe, but it's now a kind of a walking trail. But I believe they allow snowmobiles. I can't see those tracks well enough. I don't think those are snowmobile tracks. I think those are just car tracks. But anyway, I digress. Might be able to get close enough here. Anyway, my hope is that the last couple of weeks, let's say it's been 3 weeks since I've washed this thing, will be the longest stretch, and we'll go back to a normal winter where we have some warm-up days where I can actually, you know, thoroughly wash this thing on a regular basis. But whether I get lucky or not, whatever I end up doing in terms of washing this thing throughout this winter, this thing will be due for its next... So the next time I take this to the dealer will be in March for its annual New York State inspection. The next time I take it to the dealer will be for the 9,000 mile service, which will be my second 9,000 mile service, and that'll probably be in, I'm just guessing, May of this year, 2025. So my plan is to, when I take it there for service, have them take all of the plastics off, including the plastics that they wouldn't normally need to do on that service. And I'll explain to them what I've been doing throughout the winter, and my dealer knows that I ride this year-round. But ask the service department to give it a thorough examination looking for corrosion, and to call me back there in the shop. I know there are insurance restrictions, but we'll see. And depending on what we see, will determine whether or not this experiment is going to continue, or whether or not I've got to kind of not ride this thing when there's salt on the ground. I can still ride it in the winter, because there'll be plenty of times where, like, let's say this is like mid to late January that I'm shooting this video right now. It's quite possible it might be 40s, 50 degrees in early February, and pouring rain washes the salt away, and then it might not snow again for another week, and therefore the road salt won't be on the streets, and I can ride it then. What I do in terms of whether I buy a car if I have a corrosion problem with this thing, or whether I say, no, I can Uber and rent a car, and I'll work the economics out on that. But that'll be a calculation for next year. What's going on here? Oh, sure. You okay? Oh, I wonder if he's monitoring the trail. Is that guy fishing back there? I wonder if he's monitoring the trail in terms of snowmobilers or something. I think they're allowed on it. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, so this experiment that we're doing for this year will either continue, depending on that road salt, or not. Because I've had a lot of people who don't watch the channel regularly. They've not seen all of my, you know, background videos in terms of what I'm doing in terms of riding the Spyder in the winter. And I've had people watch, like, one of my snow rides for the first video they've ever seen, and they say, well, aren't you concerned about road salt? Even though we've talked about road salt a lot. So I understand that. Hopefully this video, if they watch this, will clear that up. And by the way, if you are new to the channel, one of the things I don't like to do is ask people to like a video at the very beginning. That's a neat contemporary house. Is ask people to like a video before they've watched it. But I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, because if you're into the Can-Am Spyder, and my guess is if you're watching this video you are, then so I can feel a little sliding, even though this road doesn't look at all wet or icy. Something's going on beneath my feet or beneath my wheels. But anyway, if you would subscribe to the channel, I sure would appreciate it. We provide a lot of good Spyder content and some epic adventures upcoming on a Florida trip where I plan on taking the Spyder. That will provide a ton of awesome video. The ride down there, while I'm there, going through the Everglades, going to Key West on the Overseas Highway, 100-mile highway, whatever they call it. It's going to be epic. So I'm just noticing I can see the selfie stick for the Insta360 in the mirror. So that's a good thing. If it does fail, I'll at least be able to learn about it somewhat right away if I keep my eye on that left mirror and not learn about it 30 miles down the road. So I think at this point in the video, I feel comfortable saying, look, if you like the video, if you would hit the like button, I sure would appreciate it. It is cold, even though it's above freezing. I think it is cold, I can tell you that. I don't have my layers underneath. You know, normally on a cold ride, I'll wear long john thermal layers underneath my clothing. I didn't do that for this because I knew it would be a short ride and it was going to be a balmy 32, 33 degrees. When that sun was out, it felt a little warmer. Anyway, so if you have any comments on the road salt issue, my plans for keeping this thing clean, or anything else related to the Spyder, any comments whatsoever, I sure would appreciate it if you'd make a comment. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Again, whether you're a subscriber or not, if you watch my videos, and obviously if you stuck with me to this point, you do, I sure do appreciate you watching. I really, really do. This channel has just grown beyond my wildest dreams, and that's thanks to you. And until the next video, you have a great day. Bye-bye.